I'm happy to say that I've upgraded to what I think will be a much better portable compressor for filling my PCP air rifles, and I'm very excited about this one. I'll show you why, and we'll test it out on camera. I'm Dustin, and you're watching Legacy Airguns. So this is the Benjamin Traveler compressor. It's a 4,500 PSI compressor. Now, if you've watched the channel for a while, you may know that I had another brand, and I won't name names, I'm not trying to slam them, and I used it, and you know, it worked fine. It still works fine, but it has some inconveniences and some limitations, and I think this is going to be a much better solution for filling up my guns when I'm out in the field or when I'm at the shooting range. Let's just take a look around it here. I'll turn it around. And on this, what I would call the front of the compressor, it's much like others. You know, you can see where the cooling fans are. Right here, you've got a male Foster fitting for the air output. It's got a burst disc for safety in case the pressure gets too high. And then it's got its bleed valve. So nothing unusual there. One of the things I'm most excited about is the back right here. On the other one that I had, there were a couple ways you could run it. You could use clamps to hook it up to, say, the truck battery, or you could plug into a wall outlet. But I prefer the wall outlet. My truck has an outlet in the bed, so I don't need to lift the hood and use clamps. But with the other compressor I had, you had to plug a converter into an outlet and then hook the clamps to that. So you've got all these extra pieces and wires that can come undone. Where with this one, much different. If you want to use the clamps and use the DC 12 volt power, you can plug the clamps, and I'll show them to you in just a moment, right here. Or if you want to plug into an outlet, completely separate cord which plugs in right here. There's no converter, no middleman, so to speak. It just plugs right into an outlet. So much more convenient, and therefore it's going to take up much less space in the truck or on the work surface, wherever you're doing your charging. On the top, it's got a digital display, and let me go ahead and give you a look at that. Up here you just have a sticker with the warning, safety label, things like that. And then down here is the digital display. Now, to be honest, I'm recording this segment of the video after the compressor has run, so it's already plugged in and you can actually see this illuminated and showing numbers. Up here at the top you've got the voltage, and then right below that is the set pressure, and then the fill pressure, which right now is just at 0 because it's not connected to anything, so there is no pressure. And down here is the temperature. Again, the compressor has run, so it's still coming down. It's at 33.6 degrees Celsius, and it will come all the way back down to room temperature, which in this studio is about 20 to 21 degrees Celsius. Over here, you just have a color coding of the pressure. And on this set pressure, it's showing in bar right now. 310 bar is the max. You can lower it with the minus or raise it with the plus. And if I press and hold the plus button for just a few seconds, that's going to change it, so now it's displayed in PSI. Also, right up here is an on-off button. The cord is plugged in, and when I press the on-off button, the compressor will actually start to run, and then just pressing it again would turn it off. But again, it's an auto shut-off, which is a fantastic feature. I don't recommend leaving it unattended. It shouldn't be completely trusted, but whatever you set your pressure to, it will shut the compressor off automatically when it reaches there. It's just a great design and very convenient. Right over here, I've got the bag of goodies that it came with. Here are the cables if you want to use your car battery. And I'll flip that around and just show. As I said before, that just plugs in right there. And if you want to do it that way, you would just flip this switch down into the position it is. And I'll set that aside for a moment, and we'll pull out this other cord. This is for plugging into an outlet. And again, no converter or anything like that, just plugs in right here. And then you've got your standard outlet to plug into the wall or wherever your outlet is. Here is the air hose. And I would say the only thing I could almost call a complaint about this compressor is how little it offers for air filtration. In here, you have a little air filter. And here's what that looks like. There's some extra ones in this bag. And that's all it has. Now, I live in the state of Utah. It's a very dry climate. I'm not overly worried about that. But I actually did pick up an extra little filter that I can just attach and then attach my hose to that. And that's got a little bit bigger filter options in it. I also do have the Benjamin Recharge compressor, which came with a hose that had a filter like this on it. So I suppose if you have both compressors, you can use the one hose for both of them. Also in this bag is a little Ziploc bag, and in there I've got a little Foster plug if I want to plug up the hose, either to test pressure or just for storage, keep the dust out of it. And also some extra burst discs and some O-rings in case I need to do any repairs. So it comes with everything I need to get started. So why don't we go ahead and set this up. I'm going to plug into an outlet. Set the compressor right there where you can see it, and I have an outlet right over here. And I'll actually bring this over a bit because we're going to actually test this on a gun. I'll put my filter that I added, hook my hose to the filter, give it a pull. You want to make sure that's on there good and tight. Well, let's grab a gun and we'll see how this does. All right, well, pardon the clutter I have here now on the desk, but let me just explain. I've got the FX Dynamic rifle here, and this is a perfect example because this is all the way down. The gauge for this main tank is reading at about 120 bar, and that means it's actually off the regulator. The regulator is set to 130, so it needs to be filled, and it fills up to 250 bar. I've actually got my compressor set to 230, so there is it now. 250 bar is what it's set at. If all goes well, it's going to automatically shut off when it reaches that point. So let's go ahead and hook up the hose to the Dynamic. Make sure it's on there good and snug. And we should be ready to go. I have the iPad over here that I'll be using as a stopwatch, so I can speed up the video for your sake, but the iPad will give us a true time on how long it actually takes to fill. So let's go ahead and give this compressor a try. All right, it has stopped right at 250 bar. And the cooling fans are still running. The temperature got up to 41.6 degrees Celsius. That's not bad at all. And the time was 6 minutes, 20, little less than 6 minutes 29. I was a little slow on stopping it. So from all the way down to where the gun was off the regulator to full up again and ready to go out and shoot, about almost 6.5 minutes. I can definitely live with that. This is fantastic. All right, well, now the compressor has cooled down enough that the fans have stopped automatically. One thing we still need to do is disconnect the gun from the hose. And before we do that, there's still pressure in the hose, so I'm going to bleed that pressure off by turning the bleed valve. You can hear that. A little bit of moisture came out the back end. Not much, but a little bit. That's why I like to have an extra filter on there. And with that pressure relieved, we can take off the hose and recap that fitting. Pretty slick. Well, there you have it. I mean, what else can I say? It's a pretty simple, pretty slick machine. Again, that is the Benjamin Traveler, sort of the little brother to the Benjamin Recharge that I have. That's the big one that fills the big carbon fiber tanks. This one won't do that. It's not rated for that, but obviously it's going to fill guns. That gun holds quite a bit of air, so that'll handle all the air guns in my air arsenal. You'll be seeing lots more of this on the channel as we're out on our squirrel shoots, prairie dog shoots, etc. And any other shooting that we're doing. This is going to be a fantastic addition to the channel. Already excited, already would recommend it, especially the convenience of the hookups on the back. That is just going to be slick. I don't know how many times I've said that in this video, but it just is. Hey, please don't forget to click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos. There are plenty more to come. And if you look in the description, you'll see where to find me on social media. Thank you so much for watching.